Hello everyone, this is J Mill. So in the last video I mentioned biblical relationships versus modern relationships. Like it's like nowadays we got a lot of both men and women complaining on the internet about why they're single. And these are mostly the incels that don't go outside enough or get a lot of experience with reality. I mean, yeah, I get it. Like unresolved childhood trauma, maybe how they were raised, their upbringing, social media addiction, that's for sure. And on top of that, too much societal coddling and a lack of communication. Well, I can understand why we have a lot of young people that don't know how to be adults today. And I'm not trying to make fun of them because that's not what I'm doing. It even says in the book of Psalms from the Bible, like, to be careful how you judge because they walk in darkness and do not understand, meaning they don't know any better and they need to be guided by the right person to have more awareness of themselves. Yeah, because it's like if, I didn't know better, I wouldn't want people judging me harshly. If I do know better and I choose to do wrong, yeah, then it's my fault, obviously. It's like, yeah. Anyways, the point, I don't want to get off topic. Yeah, it's like back in the old days, we used to just socialize. We just did it. Now, because of social media addiction, we isolate ourselves to the point where we're so addicted and we lose our social skills from the isolation. And then over time, you develop anxiety, depression, mood swings, bipolar disorder. That's not good for anybody. It should also, isolation, yes, it's meant to give you time to pray. But if it's keeping you from praying, then you need to just, like, go outdoors, get a job, be more financially and responsible and independent in other ways. Get a car if you still don't have your driver's license and you're in your 20s or 30s. Yes, there's people that are in their 20s or 30s that have never had their first kiss, haven't had their first job, haven't had their first driver's license or their first car. Again, I'm not making fun of them because I do feel bad for them. That doesn't mean they'll never move forward with their life. Anyone can. Like, some people start late. That also shouldn't tempt you to procrastinate either, because then you'll never get it done, and then it really will be too late. See, men are complaining about why women don't submit to them. Well, if you don't even have a job or a car, you live in your mom and dad's basement and you're in your 20s and 30s or even 40s, well, there you go. And especially if you're watching pornography and like you spend too much time on screen and you lose your social skills. There's your problem. And same thing with women. Now, traditionally speaking, men are the providers and they should be the one working and paying the bills and taxes. And then women, if they have a kid, should have the time to raise and nurture their children and take care of the housework. Men and women, husbands, wives, they're supposed to work as a team and help each other out. Like, deep down, women shouldn't have to deal with the burden of working, paying taxes and bills. Now, if they're not married and they live by themselves, then that would be understandable. Because they shouldn't have to depend on the government either, if they're not living with men. So in a way, I agree with that part, but once they're married, the man should be working and providing, and the wife should be taking care of the house and the kids. This is not me being sexist. This is me being honest. Because deep down, no woman wants a man who sits in the basement and does nothing with his life. And then you pray to God, give me a girlfriend, but you're not even, like, providing, you're not even working, you're not even at least doing any chores. It's like, help your parents around the house too, because if you're socializing with your parents more, that'll radiate, you'll develop the social skills, and that'll see your self-confidence is a reflection of how much time you spend socializing, and that will radiate off of you when you talk to women. If you approach women and then you're like, hello, you're not making any eye contact, you think, well, why do they judge me for that? Well, because they want a man who's confident and someone that makes them feel safe. They don't want a man who's gonna run away in times of conflict or war, or any time things get tough. Because if you're socially anxious now, well, that's going to tell them this is what their future with you will be like. You see where I'm going with this? I know it sucks because nowadays, the unrealistic expectations from a lot of job interviews, not all jobs are like that, by the way. Or, or every time you try to ask out women or women try to ask out men, generally men should be the one asking out women, first of all. Being burned out from constant rejection, then you feel like, well, what's the point? I might as well just be lazy and do nothing. Yeah, that's not how you should solve problems. Ultimately, men should be submitting to God. Submit to God first. Be the bride of Christ as a man. Then you'll attract a godly woman who will submit to you. Don't just say, I serve God, I'm a Christian, I read the Bible, I pray. Well, do you actually put it to use? Are you putting your biblical faith and knowledge to use? Or are you just saying you're a Christian, but you don't really act like it? Then in that case, you're not going to attract godly women. You'll either attract lukewarm Christian women, or you won't attract any women, depending on who you are. And even, like I said, social skills is the number one key to getting to getting a job, the right woman, of course, if you're a man. And basically, in general, it also lets people know you can't be pushed around easily when you're confident. But yeah, like I said, we got one content, the red pill masculinity content, where they think the way to solve problems is to treat women like trash just because women treated them like trash. Then you got the toxic feminist content that solves problems by treating men like trash just because they were treated like trash by men. See, those two extremes are just focused on hating each other and not actually solving the problem and learning from what they could have done better. Not all women are trash and not all men are trash. And like I said, it's all about confidence and improving your social skills. That's what I've been doing this past summer, which is why I haven't been doing YouTube much since April. And I'm sorry I kept you guys waiting for so long. That's what I was doing here. After talking to so many women this past year, I'm finally learning a lot more about myself than I did before. Before that, I just thought, maybe if I become good looking and rich, that'll get me yeah. See, I've seen, even for myself, rich guys getting rejected by women and good looking guys getting rejected by women. Why? Because they're depending on their looks and money to get them through life, and they're not depending on God to get them through life. They're not even depending on themselves, not even depending on God. Yeah, if that money and looks get taken from you, then you'll really have nothing. Understand that, okay, if a job or a woman, or if you're a woman, a man, if you get rejected, well, go to another job or another woman. I'll just speak to men for now. See, when you waste your time trying to change someone and convince them to accept you, well, that's stalker behavior, first of all. Second of all, if they don't trust you, just get the message and move on to the next person. I'll give you a quick backstory. In the past, I used to think I couldn't have this job, this girl, just because I have autism. Well, now I know that's not true. It's because back then, I was emotionally immature, but in my defense, I didn't know any better then. I was also in my teens and early 20s, and a lot of people at that age are emotionally immature. Now I know, like I've mentioned in one of my videos, there's people with autism that have jobs, that are married and have children, that can drive cars and own their own homes. Like, there's opportunities out there for literally anybody. You're just going to the wrong people, the wrong places, or doing it at the wrong time. For example, going to a bar and asking out bartenders, bar chicks. I used to do this in my early 20s when I was a lukewarm Christian. I would either get rejected or they would just lead me on and play games instead of saying no. Or it only ended in short-term relationships. Yeah, bars are... I'm not being prejudiced against people who work at bars or people that go to bars. If you're going there to eat or work there, that's fine. I'm talking about in terms of if you plan on finding a long-term relationship there, that'll almost never happen. If you're a Christian guy, find a Christian woman. You have to be equally yoked with them. A Christian and an atheist do not go together. Because, I mean, yes, like, if the man gets saved, there's an 80% chance the wife and the child gets saved. That's different when you're already married. If you're meeting someone, you have to be already equally yoked with them. And I'm speaking from experience. Because an atheist woman will literally turn a Christian man lukewarm. I mentioned in my last video what happened to David, Solomon, and Samson, the Old Testament prophets, because they gave in to the wrong women. As a man, you need to submit to God so you'll attract a godly woman, not a Christian woman. There's a difference. Then you'll raise godly children with godly values. And marriage should be based on when one partner falls, the other one's supposed to encourage and lift each other up. It's not supposed to be a one-way street. And don't listen to people who encourage you to be complacent and tell you, oh, it's okay to watch porn and masturbate. No, it's not. Because when you do that, I'm not going into details because you get the idea. When you're doing that, you're basically, when you mess, okay, I'm gonna try not to be inappropriate. When you mess with your you-know-what, you're messing with your confidence and your appearance. And that's going to repel. See, women pick up on social skills better than men do. See, most women actually don't know why they're turned off by you. They just know that they're turned off. You as a man need to figure out what you're doing that's turning them off. You as a man have to do your part to problem solve and figure things out, because you as a man are supposed to be logical, not emotional. Oh, I got rejected. Women are the problem. I got rejected by this job. All jobs are the problem. No. You got rejected because maybe you weren't qualified for that job. Or maybe they hired somebody else. Or maybe they're not hiring right now. Or you probably picked the job you weren't qualified for. Move on to the next job until some job out there will hire you, and they will. You know, to be qualified for high-skilled labor, 99% of us have to start off doing low-skilled jobs first. If you can prove that you're responsible with the little things, then you'll be rewarded by being trusted to take care of the bigger things. And many young people, teens, 20-year-olds, and even 30-year-olds do not know this these days. Probably because they weren't taught that. I hope this video helped you out. And if it did, like, subscribe, or comment, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out. And may God be with you. Amen.